Hi everyone, this is Markku, and I promised a couple of my friends that I would explain what I was doing last Saturday night. This is the kind of things I like to do during the weekends. I was playing around, testing which model to put in my work stack this week, especially because I need to do a lot of video scripts. I also have to do a lot of training materials. And first of all, I have to say, context is king. Remember that whatever I do with AI, I always use my personal context in the work. And context for me means also that I have everything that I ask from whichever LLM I'm using. I use a metadata model and also all of the Obsidian files that I will be needing. So basically, I've told this previously that I put all of my knowledge into different vaults, and these are basically the context that I select certain documents when I start working with different LLMs. So this is something that you will not get good results unless you own the context. First one I'm trying out is Gemini 2.5 Pro. I like this in different topics, but right now I'm doing video avatar scripts for a training module. So I'm doing a leadership training module on life skills and future readiness. And basically, if I would be doing research based on web resources, Gemini Pro most likely would be the best one in this case. But because I'm giving a lot of context material already, I've given basically a training outline, so the context is quite tight. I see that Gemini is slightly struggling, but it's a great product, has a huge context window, and I like the way when you look at the results, they come in slowly, but you can see that he or she, however you like to call your AIs, has basically used the references that I have in my context files. So this, I would say it's an okay result, but I'm not going to be using Gemini for this case. So what I'm actually doing is I'm creating avatar video scripts based on a training concept that I have written. So for me, the training concept is something that human intelligence has made. Then my second one is Markku-AI. Armi was our Irish setter. She passed away, but I left her as an agent working with me. Armi is the best life skills developer at least in Finland, but I would say most likely in the world. She has over 2,000 organized documents as a context, tons of skills frameworks, different skill progression models, skill definitions, etc. But because she's such an academic, the results will not be useful for this case. So Armi is special, and she was also a great dog, but the best in the world. But the point is that these are not the kind of scripts that I want to be using when I'm going to be doing this moving forward. So my main point is that if you create your personal agents with a specific task, for example, she's the best skills rubric designer in the world. I wouldn't still use it as creating avatar videos, which are supposed to be just engaging the audience enough that they won't drop off the course, etc. So let's leave Armi out of this one. The next one I'm going to be using is basically a very widely used one. But if you see, for example, that if I start to basically talk more with Armi, I asked her a detailed question about a certain script, she improved as I guided her more. GPT-4, this is the one I like to do, especially for heavy level reasoning. I gave her a lot of context materials. GPT 4.1 has a beautiful big context window, but if I look at the content, it's to the point as guided. So I would say that high quality, but because I want to put a little bit of personality into it, I will be still fine-tuning them. So the main point is that it's an okay result, but when I read these through, I still thought that it was missing something. And this is because for some reason, even though I gave GPT 4.1 a lot of my context materials as a baseline, she was in a hurry or for some reason started to approach the topic slightly different. So no go this time for GPT 4.1. It doesn't mean that it was a bad job, but not super happy with the results. I even gave her a little bit more context to just see what we could do, but it didn't work out that well. So this is kind of like typical workflow. Whatever I'm doing, first of all, you have to remember that I'm the human, I'm the intelligent one in this case. I have to give the context, I have to give the structure, I have to give the guidelines, and I also have to do the critical thinking on, is this what I want? To be honest, as you can see what's happening on my screen, the model improves as I also improve my guidance. So I knew already when I gave the instructions that I would be using a specific model, and so this is kind of unfair towards the others. Grok 3 from XAI, I don't use this a lot, but I do find it quite funny. So basically the style, for example, how Grok-AI answers the XAI, it's quite good. And if I would be doing an avatar that would be just to the point of the discussions on a global scale. What are people talking on X, for example? I don't use X, but I assume that there's a lot of also good quality discussions on different topics. XAI would most likely give me the most up-to-date results. Like I said, for me, it's more like when I just want to have a little informal discussion, maybe have a little laugh, I use Grok, but it's not a tool I use every day. But then to the final one. As you can see, I had already Claude 4 Sonnet on my mind, and this is my favorite tool right now. And the reason is that what you're seeing actually is that Claude is writing on my, in my vault. So I've integrated Claude with an MCP server, did a little local hosting, and she has the rights to write to a certain vault in my folder, and or a certain folder in my vault. And what's happening right now is that while she's working on the context, it's also writing the content into my hard drive. Someone might say that no, don't do this, but I do it in a very I would say secure way. And on the other hand, I have like a foolproof backups of everything. I do them all the time, mornings, evenings, etc. So it's not a big problem. But if you look at the results, that's why I love using Obsidian side by side with Claude, because I get the markdown pages in perfect form, already headings, etc. in place. And if I look at the results, they're nicely organized in my vault. And these are the kind of things that then I start to work on, edit, I'll fine-tune them, and before giving them to my avatar for final presentation. So in this case, making avatar scripts from a predefined content with a very tight context for a training module, Obsidian and Claude, they won. So the point in all of this is that own your context, use a lot of metadata, play around, and have some fun.